Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, coming to you from the Big Ten Basketball Media Days 2022 at the Target Center in Minneapolis. And I'm very, very fortunate to be joined with Indiana head basketball coach Mike Woodson. Coach, last year we did this, and it was your first season. A lot of unknowns for you to get through, dealing with the college basketball for the first time and all that goes with that. You guys come back this year, and now you're looked at as one of the leaders to win the league.
Well, they won't call me a rookie anymore amongst my staff.
Because I don't know how anyone ever calls you a rookie.
Well, they did, which was okay. But it is nice to be mentioned amongst the Big Ten. At the end of the day, we still got to go play the game and go through the grueling schedule of the Big Ten. But, the major reason they're talking about it is because of Trace Jackson Davis coming back. Which was the major piece to our puzzle. I don't know what I would have done without him, so it's good to have him back.
And this league is really strong. It's always strong. You played in it, but man, the top half of these teams, whether it's because of returning players like Trace and Race, or Illinois has an influx of transfers, just a lot of good plays, but it has to be the best having a guy that was already here, that has been in your system, that you're familiar with, like Trace and Race and Xavier and those guys who are returning, who are your upper class leaders. That's got to make you feel pretty good going into the season.
Well, it makes a difference because it was the first time any of those guys tasted a little success last season. None of those guys had ever been in the big dance. And I could see the smile and the competitiveness they had once they got into it. And I can't help but think it will be a nice carryover into this season because they are hungry to do better, to go further, to win a Big Ten title. So it's going to be my job, my staff's job to keep them playing at a high level. Hopefully we can stay away from injuries and see where we are once we jump it up.
And I know everyone, including yourself, wants to win a Big Ten national championship. Trace, it's palpable that he really wants that for Indiana. It seems you could see and feel that he really wants to leave a legacy. We talked about that before. You have to win something to do that.
Well, that's the only thing that's left from a statistical standpoint. He's done pretty much everything he's supposed to do, and he'll add to that this season. But that's the only thing left, man. If you come into the Big Ten or you come play for Indiana and you're not thinking winning a Big Ten title, then you need to go somewhere else. That's what you play for. That's what I came back for. And a national title. Everybody can't win them. If they were, it would make this game so much easier, but that ain't the case. So his legacy would be winning a Big Ten title and a national title. That's what he's back here for. He's itching at the bit to try to get that done, and I got to help him try to accomplish that because that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
And you are all leaning on some of the new guys. Jalen Hood-Schifino, a lot of talk about him. I went down and saw him play. He just plays at a higher level than what he seems like at his age. Trey said the same thing. He said he seems like he's a junior, and his play seems like that. That has to be a great bit of relief to have someone like that on the floor.
Well, again, freshmen are freshmen. Once in a while you get a unique freshman that just knocks it out of the park. But most freshmen, there's a learning curve. And, I've been preaching it to these 4 freshmen. Somehow I got to speed the process up for you guys. Because if we're talking about winning at a high level, they got to be a big part of it. So, I'm pushing them just as hard as I'm pushing the veteran guys because we're going to need them.
And last year was a winning season, and when I was talking to Trace and Race, there were just so many games that you could look at that you could point out where the game was lost. And learning how to win is one of the things that it seems like this group has to finalize to reach that greatness.
Well, the first step is being competitive. And we were that last year. That's why we were in every game. Second step was building a defensive foundation. And we did that last year, and it put us in position to be in every ball game. And that won't be any differently this season, going into this season, because defensively we have to make a statement. I mean, it's like the staple, it's the signature of who you are as a ball club. I've seen it done at the highest level from a defensive standpoint, and it won an NBA title. So I know defense wins, and it doesn't hurt. You can add some offense to that, then you become a hell of a combination then.
You played for a guy who is pretty much defense. His world was based around that. Were you surprised on how well the team was able to, how good they were defensively last year? In your first season, in their first season, they were one of the top defensive teams in the league.
I was very surprised because of where we started. And then as we started to go through the season, you could see it. But a lot of that is just playing hard, man. I mean, being more competitive than your opponent. And when you do that, you give yourself a chance to win. And yes, we lost a lot of close games where we held leads that we couldn't finish. But, we'll get over that hurdle. That's my job to get us over that hurdle and get us over the top.
With the expectations and the talk of a Big Ten championship, how does the team react to that mentally? They have to take that in and not let it, not get big-headed and forge a path towards that goal. And how are they going to? Last year they were just learning. Everybody was learning together, but now you're trying to find a way to forge toward a championship. How do they learn to do that?
Work. You take each practice and each game. You take it one at a time, man. Right now it's practice, and you got to get better every day. When we have bad practices, I'm the first to let them know about it. I'm not happy about that because you don't want to ever develop bad habits. And so our practices have been very intense. A lot of running, a lot of teaching. It's the little things that win basketball games. They just got to be pushed in the right direction, and that's my job to do it.
The schedule really ramped up this year. You've got Arizona. You're going to Kansas. North Carolina comes in, and Xavier, all preseason. That's before the gauntlet of the Big Ten. But that's the kind of schedule Indiana used to play anyway that you were accustomed to playing, and they've gotten back to that.
It's okay. It's competition, man. It's great for college basketball. If you're scared of it, then you shouldn't be playing. So I'm just looking forward to it, to see where our team is as a whole. They should be pumped up about it because from a national scene, they're going to be watched based on, what they do. And I just think it's good for our program. I do, and we'll see where we are as we come through that early part and enter into the Big Ten.
Speaking of that schedule, and there's been some people talking, any word or any more or any closer to renewing the series with Kentucky?
Well, again, we're not there yet. There's been some talks, and sometimes talks can turn into something good. So we'll continue to communicate and see where it takes us.
What's the quickest you could ever imagine that happening?
Hopefully the next 2 or 3 years.
Well, Coach, I cannot thank you enough. Wish you the best of luck. As always, thank you so much, and we'll see you back in Bloomington.
Okay.
Thank you. Coach Mike Woodson, so graciously joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Greatly appreciate him. Nick and Charlie as well from the SID staff of Indiana. We can't thank them enough. We've got lots more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio from Big Ten Basketball Media Days here at Minneapolis, and we're back with it right after this.